Northfield Township versus Adam Bossich, 22N000130. Mr. Bossich, could you state your name, please?
Yep, Adam Bozich, ma'am.
Mr. Bossich, you're here today on a speeding ticket. The ticket was issued to you on northbound US 23 near North Territorial Road in Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan, on April 5th, 2022. The ticket was issued for speeding 35 miles per hour over the speed limit, 105 in the 70. The penalty for that is $240 and 4 points. I'm sure you'd like to avoid those points on your driving record, so we can talk about that. You have a terrible driving record. You have a speeding ticket, another speeding ticket from April, disobeying a traffic control device from January, driving left of center from October of 21, speeding ticket from 2020.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mandatory suspension because you have so many points. Yeah, did you want to say something?
Yes, Your Honor. I do have some. This is not my first speeding ticket at all, and but I also didn't. Well, it was just like. I was just looking to get like points reduced because it's a lot of points at this point, and then that was pretty much it. But
Okay, so you don't have a driver's license right now, and it's more than a year before you can get one, correct?
I don't know. Yeah, that's it, but should be. You stopped.
Okay.
His
So
actual speed was I paced him between 105 and 112. Excuse me.
all
So
right,
there's a little bit more going on why I wrote him that much. You know me, I don't typically write for a full amount typically, but there's a little bit more going on here in the situation. Is the reason why I wrote him for the 105 and the 70.
Is there any reason, officer, that you didn't pull me over?
okay, why don't we have a hearing? Because there's a lot of talking going on, and I think people should be under oath if we're going to have this kind of conversation. Could you raise your right hand, please, Mr. Bossich?
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let Officer Basso testify, and then if there's something that you want to tell me or something that you want me to ask him, we can do that, okay? But we'll have him testify under oath, and then that might answer your question. When you're ready, Officer Basso, go ahead.
Good morning, Your Honor. The citation was April 5th of 2022 at approximately 10:40 in the evening. I was stationary radar traffic on the overpass of North Territorial and US 23. I sit on the roundabout facing southbound, but I'm facing the northbound traffic. So I basically shoot my radar down the exit ramp from northbound 23 onto North Territorial. I have a clear, unobstructed view of the both lanes of travel, and I get clear and constant, steady tones. So on that date and time, I observed the defendant's vehicle traveling northbound at a higher rate of speed than the posted 70 mile an hour. I released the hold switch in radar unit 171, which is a certified unit, which was calibrated before and at the end of my shift. It was working properly throughout my shift. And I got a reading of 93, 94, and 94. Clear, constant, steady tone, no distortion. He was the vehicle I was tracking. So I entered onto 23 and got in behind him right around just south of 6 Mile Road is by the time I caught up to him. I then realized that he was traveling over the 94 miles an hour with my speedometer. I released the hold switch on the radar unit and used the radar unit to do my tracking between 6 Mile and Barker Road. During that time, his speed ranged from 105 up to 112. I was about 4 or 5 car lengths behind him at that speed, trying to maintain distance.
I think we got it. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. All right, bye-bye.
Microphone off if you're not Officer Basso or me. Thank you.
So I paced him between 105 and 112 throughout that pace, between those 6 Mile and Barker Road. I activated my emergency lights and stopped the driver and identified him as Adam Bozich, Bozich, with his Michigan driver's license. When I made contact with the driver, his music was extremely loud where I couldn't even communicate with him. I asked him to turn the music down, and he told me I needed to use my big boy voice. And he only rolled the window down about 2 to 3 inches down. I was eventually able to ask him at a point why he was going so fast, and he asked me why I was going that fast. So at that point, the dialogue was not going to go very well. So I went back and issued him the citation for the 105, which was the lowest pace speed that I had, 105 in a 70. I'm a certified radar operator. I've been so for 27 years. I did check the radar unit prior to and at the end of my shift, and it was working properly throughout my shift.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Bosich.
Yeah, I was going to say before you wanted to make a hearing, and that it just seemed like he could have pulled me over when I was going 90, and I was wondering why it seemed like he maybe, because he didn't drive like a cop at all, and I didn't realize he was a cop because it was dark, and then he put his lights on later. Like, it seemed like he was just trying to get me to boost my speed by tailing me, and that was pretty much it though. But it just seems like he was just maybe, I don't know, this guy, it seems like he's like takes a lot of pride.
I
It
think
seems
to what
easy to just pull people over on the highway, but that's all.
so you're saying that Officer Basso's behavior caused you to drive 112 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone? Is that what you're saying?
No, because that's lawless, but the fact that he could have flashed his lights when I was going 90, and everybody knows, like anybody who was me or him knows that he could have just flicked me when I was going 90, because he was driving right behind me real fast, tailing me. And if it was a real car, I was just trying to get out of their way. And yeah, it's lawless, but just trying to push, like, keep traffic going, because there's a lot of cars around us when I was going 90. And that's all it's just like, okay, yeah, you can get me going 105 if you tail me when there's cars all on our right side and shit. But then if you just
And
flick
now,
me going,
and you're
that's like,
swearing. Now you're swearing in court.
sorry, ma'am.
Okay, so I didn't hear Officer Basso say that at any point he measured your speed at 90. What I heard him say is that when he was using his radar on the overpass, he measured your speed at 93. That was the lowest amount that he measured. And I mean, your driver's license is currently suspended because of how many points you have. You have like I said, you do not have a good driving record. Officer Basso has testified today that in addition to driving at a speed that is unsafe for everybody else that shares the freeway with you, plus unsafe for you, you were borderline combative with him. And I don't have an issue changing the speed to 93. It doesn't help you. But if you'd like me to do that because you think that you should have a ticket for a slower speed, 93 miles per hour over the speed limit is still too many points because your license is suspended. 93 is 3 points. So if you'd like to admit responsibility to 93, I'll amend the ticket to that. If you don't want to admit and you just want me to make a decision, then I'm going to find you responsible for 105.
Yeah, I admit responsibility.
Defendant has admitted responsibility for the ticket as amended. I'm going to keep the fine at $240. We'll amend the ticket to 93 miles per hour over the speed limit. 21 to 25. Oh, is that right? So it's still 4? 16 to 25 is 3 over. That's what my code says. So it's 16 to 25, 3 points. Okay. Fines and costs are still the 240. So because you're here with the speed as high as it was measured, you have to listen to my speeding information. Go online and Google how much pavement your vehicle needs to come safely to a stop at that speed. And you will find that it is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 or 3 football fields worth of pavement. And part of why we have speed limits on the freeways is because you don't have that kind of space. So if something had happened and there had been another vehicle that got in front of you suddenly, or a deer ran out in front of you or something like that, you would not have been able to bring your car safely to a stop. And a car accident at that speed is definitely going to cause severe injury to someone, if not death. So speed limits are not about what you are doing. They're not about your particular skills as a driver, whether those are real or imagined. They're about the danger that speeding presents to everybody else that shares the roadway with you. Usually I give 10 days to pay. Do you need more time than that? The fine is 240.
No,
Okay.
man.
10 days to pay. You're all set.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Officer Basso.
Officer, you're dismissed.
Township versus Xavier Williams Osuji, 22N000525A and B. Good morning. Could you state your name, please?
Hello, I'm Xavier Williams Osuji.
Mr. Williams Osuji, you're here today on 2 tickets. The tickets were issued, one ticket with 2 charges. The ticket was issued on July 30th, 2022 on Barker near Turquoise in Northfield Township. Part A is a careless driving ticket. The fine for that is $200, and I believe that that's 3 points. And Part B is a helmet violation. The fine for that is 180, and I don't know if that has any points or not.
It does not, Magistrate.
No points on that part. So you can admit responsibility to part of this or none of it or all of it. We'll have a hearing on whatever you don't admit to. What would you like to do?
Hi, I'm his mother. He will remit responsibility. We're just wondering if we could just drop the points.
Nope, the points are issued by the Secretary of State. So if he admits responsibility for careless driving, then that gets reported to the Secretary of State. Yes, Sergeant Roberts, go ahead.
Magistrate, just so you're aware, this is actually a fleeing and eluding case that I used some discretion in talking with his mother and dropped this down to a careless driving violation.
Okay, so is careless, I think careless is not eligible for the driver improvement course. Is that right?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Do you know, Paul? It's only 3 points, but I'm concerned that there are some things that are just not available. Okay, so what would you like to do, Mr. Williams?
I don't think he quite understands exactly what's going on here. So with the 3 points, would he be able to still get his driver's license? Because right now we postpone him getting his driver's license due to the fact that I'm not going to be able to add him to my insurance because it's going to increase our rate really high. But if we found a way to pay for our insurance, would he still be able to get his driver's license?
What does he have right now?
He just has the level 1, or he just has a permit.
I don't know the answer to that.
It extends his probation.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So he would still be able to get a license,
Okay.
but you just are on probation. There's a probationary period for people
Okay.
that are newly licensed and teenagers. So it would extend that probationary period for some period of time. There also is a driver improvement course that the Secretary of State offers. I'm not certain whether careless driving is one of the tickets that can do the driver improvement course, and it's a once in a lifetime option. So using that now before he's even got a driver's license means he can never use it again. So I'm not even sure if that makes sense. I think given what Sergeant Roberts just told me, I'd like to have a hearing on this. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll figure out, then I'll decide whether you're responsible for it rather than have you admit to that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Could you raise your right hand, please, Mr. Williams Osaji? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Sergeant Roberts will testify first. When he's finished, and you can tell me whatever it is you want me to know. When you're ready, go ahead.
Magistrate, on July 30th of this year at about 8:44 p.m., we were dispatched to a call about some juveniles riding carelessly on an off-road motorcycle near Barker and West. I was actually pulling out of the trailer park on Barker Road, and I was in the right location, driving towards that location. I observed a green and blue off-road motorcycle with 2 black males on it, driving quickly down the sidewalk. I turned around on them and tried to effect a traffic stop on them, activated my emergency lights. I observed the driver turn around and look at me and accelerate away from me and take off. I chased them westbound on Barker from US 23 all the way to Turquoise, where he turned and entered the trailer park on Turquoise Drive. Upon entering the trailer park, I discontinued my emergency lights. I was not going to chase them through the trailer park with all the kids in there, but I did continue after them. They went down Turquoise to the first 90-degree turn, and when I hit the first turn, they took off between 2 trailers into a field behind the trailers through people's yards. I circled around to the other side of the trailer park to try to cut them off and see if they came out, but they had turned around and went back the way they came. I had another unit in the area that was coming from the other direction, and we ended up searching the area, and we found the motorcycle and the juvenile at the end of Amethyst Circle at someone's house. They had hid the motorcycle behind a shed, and we made contact with him. And I talked to Xavier. He admitted to being the driver. I did recognize him wearing the same clothing that he was wearing when he passed me. I asked him why he didn't stop. He just said he was scared and he took off. I impounded the motorcycle. I was going to arrest him, but then after a lengthy conversation with his mother and him, he has a good track record. He has had no contact with us. So I deemed to bring this down to a careless driving violation instead. And I did issue the helmet violation as well.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Williams Osuji.
So I had just got my dirt bike and I wanted to ride it, but I took my friend to his house so he could go get some clothes because he was spending the night at the house that they found the bike at. And then when he had flashed his lights, I got scared and then ran. Because I've never been in trouble before, so.
Okay. And what's the helmet violation?
He wasn't wearing one.
You weren't.
Yeah, I didn't have one on because I just got my dirt bike.
Okay. Well, I'd like to give you some kind of a break on this, but I think that this is such poor judgment. And obviously you've already received a break, and under no circumstances is fleeing from the police an acceptable response to anything that's happening. So I am going to find you responsible for the careless driving and the helmet violation. Total fines and costs is $380. I usually give 10 days to pay. Is that enough time?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, you do have the right to file an appeal if you'd like to have Judge Brushauer hear the case. If you want to file an appeal, the fine has to be paid as part of the appeal process, and you have 7 days to file the paperwork for the appeal.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, any questions?
No, that's it.
Thank you. You're all set. State of Michigan versus Abdulaziz Awadi, 224-109-745. Could you state your name, please?
Good morning, it's Abdulaziz Awadi.
Okay, Mr. Awadi, I don't know if you were on when I was talking earlier about the dangers of speeding, and how at a speed as fast as what you were doing, 55 miles per hour over the speed limit, you are creating a danger for everybody else that's sharing the roadway with you.
Yeah, I understand.
And well, I hope that you do, because that is how people die in car accidents. And so I'm going to suggest that you Google how much pavement you need to bring your vehicle to a stop at that speed. And
Yeah.
like I was saying to the other person on here earlier, this is not about your skills as a driver. This is not about what's going on inside your car. This is about all the other stuff that you can't control. A pothole, another driver having a problem, an animal running out in front of you, something happening inside your vehicle that requires your attention. All of the stuff that is not about you driving is the stuff that creates a hazard when you're going this fast. And you don't have enough time to react and stop without harming yourself and other people. And I live in that part of the county, and it makes me really angry that you're here today and the police officer isn't here. I'm dismissing your case because the officer isn't here, but my children drive on those roads. You
I'm sorry
are
about that.
dangerous. Just don't say sorry. Just don't do it anymore. It's stupid and it's selfish and it's dangerous. This ticket is dismissed.
All right, thank you.